Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are you today, this evening? It is Good Friday here in Australia, and I wanted to get on and do this reading, and then I'm taking an Easter break. We are in full lockdown here in Australia. We aren't even allowed to travel. That's all a good thing. We're all abiding by the rules. We understand the need to flatten the curve. The sooner we do that, then we bring the outbreak down to a more manageable level with testing and contact traces. We can stop the spread. So this is a learning thing for everybody. This is, of course, a learning perhaps for most countries, but it seems to be in the US, and I will read on that. The latest is that Trump would like to open up the country by 30th of April, and he is withdrawing federal funding for testing, which is exactly the opposite to what other countries are doing. They're beefing their testing up. They understand without a vaccine that they need to test, they need to find the source of outbreak, they need to quarantine and lock down and flatten that curve. So everywhere else but the US, of course, in the Western world, we are all in lockdown. But in Australia, we can't travel between states. We have borders shut, state borders shut, and within the state, and our travel between towns is limited as well to emergencies, and there are on-the-spot fines for anyone found travelling to, say, a holiday house. One of our state ministers travelled to his holiday house and was fined $1,000. So they're not sparing the rod. No matter who you are, you face these penalties. The good news is the spread of corona is slowing in Australia. Okay, so let's have a look at a general reading for an update on what it's doing across the world. I have to say I was pleased to see that my predictions with Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, are rarely correct. He's one person I find hard to predict for, but I'm pleased to say the latest prediction around him improving and being okay, as far as I can see anyway, today has been correct. And I'm really, really happy to have called that correctly, because I don't normally predict on people whether people are going to, make it or not in terms of their health. However, my cards, and I didn't, in a smaller forum, I didn't actually pull cards in a larger forum out of respect, but I did let you know that I drew an Ace of Wands, which told me that, of course, he would be okay. My intuitive feeling is that it will be up and down for him. Obviously, you don't go into intensive care. This virus damage, I read the other day, can leave a longer lasting impact on the lungs. Some that have recovered, there are reports in a reduction in lung function between 20 and 30%. So common sense will tell us this is a long recovery for Boris Johnson. However, I do feel he will grow. He will grow in I think it is maturity. I'm not a fan of Boris Johnson's, to be honest, but as I said, I am glad he's doing well. All right, so let's look at the general update, and then we'll move to where we need to go after that. So, show me, Spirit, the general update. Some countries are peaking. Some countries are moving into their worst and darkest days. And some countries are now beginning to, there goes a lovely orb there. Thank you, Spirit. I did predict also that Italy would start to, it hit the mountaintop, and things would start to slowly improve. They're not out of the woods, obviously, but they're not in the grip of the climax either, the darkest of days. And of course, that's the trajectory with this virus. We move toward that climax point. and we lock down and we get a handle on it, and then we start to see improvements. That's what is happening in Western democracies. But anyway, we'll get to the question in relation to the US after this. Let's have a look. All right, so show me the virus. Show me the virus globally. What's occurring? Let's just take in the Western world, and then we'll move to Asia and other places. What is happening in the Western world? So we've got UK, Europe, we've got the US, we've got Australia, we've got New Zealand, we've got Canada. What is happening in the Western world? What is happening in the Western world with the coronavirus? Show me. Yeah, so we've got new starts. So, yeah, the Prince of Swords. Okay, so this is a time, the Prince of Swords, the Knight of Swords. This is a time when, I'm using my Illuminati deck, when the truth, the harsh truth hits us. This is a time when, one way or another, whether it is lockdowns, whether it is the death toll, whether it is the number of people infected, whether it is the fear around what if I get this virus, whether it is the acknowledgement that the unemployment queues are rising, this is a time when the harsh truth comes quickly and comes with a great deal of impact. That Prince of Swords is a very fast-moving knight. Let's see what the environment is. It is loss and heartbreak, unfortunately. And this Three of Swords is pictured. It's almost like being on the rocks. These are very, very, very dark times, stormy, dark clouds. So that's the truth. The truth of the loss is hitting us, basically, at the moment. The Three of Pentacles, this is the effect on the economy, but this is also the need to work in teams and work in collaboration with others. Those countries that are doing that, and I read somewhere the other day where Germany sent some ventilators across to the UK. Interesting. I wonder if you talk to Brex that are on the streets and said, well, are you aware that Germany has sent over ventilators to help? It sort of makes our political partisanship very superficial and small, doesn't it? Okay, so this is a time for opening up borders in terms of cooperation and collaboration, not moving forward with this nationalistic, divisive type of spirit. This is a coming together, a working in teams. The Four of Pentacles, this is showing me, and I did choose this Illuminati deck because I felt it would give me a perspective around the economy as well. This is the economy's contracting, which is going to make collaboration and working together even more important. In terms of the virus and what is happening globally, there's also, again, what is happening economically. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is saying, of course, that there will be a very deep recession, worldwide deep recession, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Great Depression. So those governments that can collaborate and work together with others, including on trade, flexibility, adapting, businesses adapting, it is a spirit of cooperation, not a spirit of division, that will be needed as a foundation going forward. Everything is suspended at the moment. Everything is suspended, and while ever it's suspended, the spiritual aspect for us, is the learning aspect for us, is that we're having to see things very differently. In the immediate future, we've got the Tower, so things are going to get worse. As I said, different countries have different climaxes and peaks with this virus, but I do feel that generally the Tower, we are perhaps again still not in the eye of the storm. We're still moving into the storm with this thing. Okay, so the Prince of Wands in the here and now. There's a lot of cooperation, as I said. There's a lot of planning for the future. There's a lot of minds coming together, a lot of expertise. I've seen interviews with scientists, the wonderful collaboration that's going on worldwide on developing antibodies, developing treatments, developing vaccines. I feel this will be for the economy as well. I feel we're going to probably over even the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, we're going to get some think tanks focusing on the economy as well as the virus. The environment around is justice, unfortunately. Things are being taken away from us, and we're being challenged with this hangman to how are we going to view this? How do we view this justice card? This is a Libra energy. I think was it the new moon in Libra? This is around the scales of justice and a balancing out that was needed, and it's happening fairly quickly. The King of Cups in the hopes and fears. I think, all of us are looking for that benign energy to come through. We don't want the apocalypse. We don't want, violence and chaos. We want order maintained, but we want it done in a way that isn't authoritarian. We want really good, firm, nurturing leadership. That is the hope. So I do feel again this virus is testing our resolve to where do we want to be in the future? Where do these new starts with that full? Eventually, the outcome is a new start. So right here, we're having to look at things differently. The Hermit. Unfortunately, I feel isolation is going to be lockdowns. Again, adapting and being flexible with how we do things. The winner is going to be the person that adapts, the businesses that adapt. Because I feel that we're going to be in that isolation mode for a little while to come. And judgment. We are moving toward an ultimate ending, something coming. This virus will come to an inevitable end, but that's in the future. Right now, we've got these two cards. So this is where we are in the Western world, and this is both economically and with the virus. At the base of the pack, though, we've got the Six of Wands, which is interesting. That is the Victor card, the anxiety card. Obviously, with that Nine of Swords and the Ten of Wands, doing it tough. So I feel that with that Six of Wands and the Fool card for the outcome, we're moving towards some sort of new start, but not before there's a fairly heavy toll. So interesting, the King of Cups would come up again in this reading. So that's where we are at the moment. We're not in the middle. We're still kind of moving into that Tower moment, unfortunately. So let's have a look at. I'm getting a draw to Asia. Let's have a look at Asia. I feel that Asia is going to be hit quite heavily. The Australian ambassador was pulled out of Indonesia, because they feared for his health. It's a pretty strong move to pull an ambassador out, but I just feel Asia, with its population density, the health facilities, of course, I have to say, and in America too, you have probably one of the most expensive health systems in the world, but we are seeing how vulnerable that health system actually is at the moment. In Australia, I've been asked why our numbers are so low for people who pass away from this. And I have to say, we don't have the same population density that you do in the US or in the EU either. But I also feel that our health system, we have universal health system, Medicare for all here, and we do have a smaller private health insurance sector for those that want to opt out of universal care and move into the private hospital, for example. But most of us are in that Medicare for all type of situation, and it's a pretty good system. So this virus is testing our health systems. Let's have a look at Asia. Show me Asia. Show me this virus in Asia. It's going to be a pretty steep climb for them. Show me this virus in Asia. Five of Cups, yeah, you're going to see fairly high stats. If you're not seeing them now, you will in the future, because that's the signifier card. It is challenged by the work, the Eight of Pentacles. That's having to go out to and fro to get from A to B, to get from their home to work. People are not going to stop working in Asia, and that is just going to spread the virus. They can't stop working because their economies wouldn't allow that. The Five of Swords, you're going to see quite a deal of abuse of power as well, as things are going to get very, very tough in Asia. The Seven of Wands, defending oneself. These are kind of like governance and government type cards as well. I'm just getting a pull that there's going to be quite a lot of, I'm not going to say violence, but it's going to get pretty tough there. And we have the King of Pentacles in the sky crowning the reading. The King of Pentacles is the businessman. It's industry. Queen of Cups is stability, but also revelations as well. The Ace of Pentacles at the moment, it's the money, it's their economy, it's the poverty. Let's see what the environment is. The Two of Swords, yeah. Okay, so why I see it being so tough, I'm pulling a lot of Pentacles, and I'm getting a draw to the poverty, I guess, the lack of affluence, that's in Asia. I feel there's going to be fairly difficult decisions having to be made. And if I looked at their society, this King of Pentacles actually looks like some kind of emperor sitting on his throne in Asia. So I feel that there's going to be a very wide distance between those that have the money to get treatment and those that don't. And as a result, because of that disparity, there could be violence erupting in Asia. I hope not. The Four of Swords in the hopes and fears. You can see that's a wounded retreat in battle, illness, etc. So I feel that their stats are going to be high, and governance is just not going to be there. The health system's not going to be helpful either. The outcome is leadership. So at some point, I feel that strong leadership is going to be needed. The Nine of Cups, though, this energy is around affluence and the Hierophant government. So I feel that this is where their vulnerabilities are going to lie. We do have the Tower card at the base of the pack. We also have the Ten of Pentacles. This is money, family, money, and the Two of Wands. Plans. There's not been enough planning there, and this virus is going to hit really, really quickly. So if it hasn't hit, if it's not if the trajectory is not like that, it soon will be. And what will accompany that is unfortunately going to be pretty tough times in Asia, I think. Indonesia, those countries where the population density is very, very high and the health system is not as good as it could be. It's just going to get overrun. I feel that's the energy that I'm tapping into. It's like overrun. Okay, so let's have a look at. Let's go to El Trumpo and see why he pulled back testing in the US. Going against his experts, pulling back testing. Why? Because you and I know, but we'll pull the cards. We know that he doesn't want real numbers to be known. Why doesn't he want real numbers to be known? Because he wants to come out of lockdown because of the economy. He knows that he's fighting for his political future. If the economy tanks, then of course that's the last key that gets unlocked, and he's going to go hard up against a Democratic candidate to win in 2020. but we'll pull the cards. Why did Trump pull funding? Why did Trump pull funding for federal testing? Why did Trump pull funding for federal testing? Why did Trump pull funding for testing? It also has to do with his leadership. He's really got to a point where he's just sort of, because people haven't been sycophantic enough about what he's done, because of the division, because of the complaining, because of the whole, he should have had tests there sooner. It's almost as if he's going to move to just sort of put paper, how you have a big hole in the wall and you just paper over it. It's that kind of thing. It's like a crazy move. So let's have a look. Yeah, he's driving this forward because of his ego, but also because he wants to open that economy up, and he doesn't want the true state of how many have the virus to be known. If you don't test and you don't trace the virus and then quarantine, then you can't stop it. So you're going against the experts. Why is he pulling federal funding? Very hard for me to read on Trump because I do want to use a lot of adjectives, and that's not very conducive. We've got the justice card here. So this is, again, this justice, when you get that really strong stubbornness, that strong determination against it, it's blind. It doesn't really respect justice. In fact, it balks at justice. So in some way, this is Trump's way of taking back control. But justice is also challenged by the Five of Swords, the abuse of power, because wherever you get that overriding determination of misaligned, I don't know what to say. Honestly, I could use some adjectives, but wherever you get that, and it goes against justice and it goes against balance, because the other aspect of the justice card is balance, then you really have to have an abuse of power, because you're trying to bend the wheel or bend something in your own, to do your own bidding, if you like. And it never works. It never works, because what it does is just bring justice down upon you. So there is that abuse of power, unfortunately. The foundation of the reading is the Queen of Cups. This is what people want to see. They want to see security. They want to feel secure, more secure. They're not going to be feeling secure with this latest move of Donald Trump's. Let's have a look at what's in the past. The King of Swords. Again, this is the objectivity and the truth that he's throwing out the window. And he doesn't like investigation. He doesn't like investigation of any sort. And so when you get the truth, and testing is an investigation to get a number to bring forward the truth, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that to come forward. What's crowning this reading is strength and endurance. So again, he's really concerned that if the true picture is known, that's going to harm the economy. But it's more than that. He's got this idea that high numbers are making the country look bad. It's that kind of thing. The Princess of Wands. Okay, so this is the Page of Wands. It is the headlines. It is the numbers. He doesn't want to see them anymore. Can you believe that? He doesn't want to see the numbers anymore. Okay. Partisanship, obstacles, challenges. He feels that the more information that's out there, the more his enemies, okay, paranoia, the more his enemies are getting a foot up. The Princess of Cups, the bombshells, the whistleblowers. This is how he sees this. He sees the testing in this light. You could also have a whistleblower come out and reveal something that has been discussed behind closed doors in relation to the testing. This whole story could come out via some kind of whistleblower or a journalist doing their job and digging and finding this information, bringing it out to light. The hopes and the fears, this is time. This is playing a waiting game. He doesn't feel like he's got time. The election is drawing closer and closer. He wants to get people back to work. The Hierophant card, the government, the higher source, and the Nine of Pentacles. It is all about the economy. He wants to move in some way to protect the economy, to get people back to work. Okay. It's also the business people are battering down his doors. They're battering down his doors and they're saying, we are losing money, do something about this. Okay, at the base of the pack, we've got the Lovers. This is the deals, the Six of Pentacles, those that have financed his campaign, the loans and debts, the banks, the big end of town are bashing on his door, open this economy. Look, it remains hopeful that his missteps will cause him to leave. This is loss, moving away, walking away, people turning their backs on him, and of course we've got the new start. So in a way, whatever he does won't be received well. And I do feel that there's more on this to come. I do feel with that whistleblower card there will be more. One last question before I finish, because then I'm going to take an Easter break and I'll be back on Tuesday. Will the US be open for business on April the 30th? Now, where are we now? What's the date today? The 10th, is it? The 9th or the 10th? Something like that. Will the US be open for business on April the 30th? That means the end of lockdowns. I don't know how he would accomplish that, because he'd have to go over the state governors' heads. I don't think he can accomplish that. Will he lift the lockdown on April the 30th? No, I'm hearing. I don't think he has the power, and I don't think he will be able to by then. Will Trump lift the lockdown by April the 30th? Will the lockdown be lifted by April the 30th? Let's just see what the cards are going to say. The Nine of Pentacles, it is the economy as the signifier card, challenged by having to make a decision, heavy forces. It is weighing up the virus versus the economy. But look at what could happen if he opens things up too early and the virus spreads. You want a competent leader, don't you? The Six of Pentacles, loans and debts. I feel this is in the foundation of this reading, giving and receiving help, helping others, and also the amount of money that is being hemorrhaged in the economy, not just in the US, globally as well. The Two of Wands in the past, a waiting game. He doesn't want to play that waiting game anymore. What's crowning this reading, the Hierophant government. He feels he has the power to open things up. The Prince of Pentacles, economic news. There could be some forecasting that he doesn't want. It could be also some projections that he has on the economy that is using to make this decision. It's like the basis of his decision. The Eight of Wands, yeah, it is. It's the economy downturning and trending downward. The figures coming out, that's what he wants to mitigate. The Queen of Pentacles, yeah, the economy. It's all about the damage to the economy and not wanting those figures to come out. Will it be open by April the 30th? The hopes and the fears is people will isolate. I feel that people will isolate anyway. I don't know that they'll take much notice of him. This is the Judgment card. That is an inevitable ending of something. Let's get the clarifier. The Three of Cups, celebrations coming together in some way, supporting each other. And the Queen of Wands, motivation and plans. Let's see what that Judgment card is talking about there. We've got the Six of Swords. We do have healing moving through. We do have a balance coming in, and but that's not an early time frame, that Temperance card. I'm more feeling that by the end of the year we'll have a handle on things. The alchemist, the magician, actualizing something into reality. I feel that he's losing in some way. This is a smoke screen. He is losing something here, and that's what's influencing his decision. All right, let's have a look at the Judgment card and see what we can glean from that. The Judgment. He would be judged, I feel. He would be judged very heavily if he opens the economy up too soon. So show me this Judgment card. Will it be opened by the 30th of April? The Judgment card is not one of my automatic guess cards. It's not an ace. It's not the Wheel of Fortune. It's more a negative, has a negative connotation. Something is going to come to an inevitable closure, and with it, it's a fairly, it's a very, very painful ending. Show me the Judgment card. Show me the Judgment card. Four of Cups. So he's disappointed, but he's also, there's a level of belligerence there as well. The Chariot, going too quickly, things being out of control. And here we've got the Ace of Swords, the Truth. This reading is telling me that he's received news. The Emperor has received news. The President has received news about the economy and projections about the economy that are very dramatic with this Prince of Swords, this Knight of Swords. He's been told something, a very harsh truth. And so his immediate response, because he's got so much pressure on him, is open everything back up. Open everything back up. And, again, pushing the treatments, the malaria drugs, etc. This is all a confidence trickster. Confidence trickster. Isn't that the definition of a con man? This is all smokes and illusions. All right, let's pull one more card, one more quick pull, because I've got to go and make some coleslaw for dinner. Okay, so let's see. Will the economy start to open up around June? That's really my time frame. A June, July kind of. It will be gradual, scalable opening up. It will be scalable opening up, but it can't be rushed. Otherwise, the virus will go out of control again. That's what that reading was telling me, and it will be quite a painful inevitability of some sort that would result with that Judgment card. All right, June, July. Will the economy, will countries start to open up, get back online by June, July? Show me June, July. Show me June, July. Prince of Swords. So we've got the Knight of Swords. This is a harsh truth for us. No wish cards here. The Three of Pentacles. It's going to take a lot of work. Going to take collaboration, not division. That's the lesson for Trump. The Two of Cups. Unity, not disunity. The Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I think that by June, July, with a coming together, with a plan, with people collaborating, you're going to start to see things open back up again. The Lover's card. And this is a harsh truth for Trump, that things are just outside of his control with the Eight of Wands. The Queen of Pentacles underneath the Two of Cups. Queen of Pentacles, of course, is my card for the economy. It's unity that's going to help here, not disunity. And we've got Temperance underneath the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel that we're going to have scalable getting back to, it's not a normal. We're not getting back to normal, but an opening up, a scalable opening up by June, July. But I do keep pulling that Temperance card. My timeline on that is, of course, December, which again fits with my general timeline in my readings, that I feel by the time we close down the year that we're going to be in better shape. But the economic fallout from this will last a long time. Trump is trying to rush things. He's trying to do it for his own political expediency. It'll backfire. It will backfire with that judgment card. It's like the person that has an addiction. The judgment card will come forward because we know that addiction has to stop. It's not sustainable. Or the gambler that has the gambling problem, and the judgment card will come forward because it's inevitable that the gambler is going to go bankrupt. So there's an inevitability. If he opens up by April 30, there's an inevitability there that the chariot, the virus getting out of control, will, with this Princess of Cups, will actually spread more. It is an abuse of power with this Five of Wands. This is, again, this partisanship that you're seeing, and the Five of Swords, the abuse of power, and where does it take us? It takes us there with that Three of Swords, loss, heartbreak. So he might try. If he does, he's going to fail. I don't think the states are going to be that foolhardy. I think the governors would have some say in that. But this is all about political expediency for Donald Trump, and he has received some news, some economic projections, which have frightened him. Not frightened him, but has made him consider that if he doesn't get the economy back, then by the time he November comes, it makes it harder for him to be re-elected. This is a president not thinking about you. He's thinking about himself. So that's the general overview of where we are at with the virus today, including globally. Have a reasonable Easter, please, wherever you are. Enjoy your isolation with your family. That's what I'm going to do. I did do an online order from our Woolworths, which is like your Walmart. And I've got some Easter eggs. We're going to go ahead and have the Easter egg hunt in our backyard on Sunday morning, and we'll have I think was able to get 2 chickens as well, so I'll roast some chickens, and have a kind of a family day on Sunday, and we'll have a barbecue tomorrow. So we've got certain sort of things planned that we can do within isolation. So wherever you are, I hope that you've got similar family times, and that in the midst of all this chaos we can find something to focus on outside of the doom and gloom and chaos. Certainly by the end of the year, things are starting to look up for us, and round about June, May, we've got now April to get through. We're heading toward the third week in April. Then we've got May, and then a scalable opening up from June, July, and then as we get to the end of the year, we've got this things improving for us. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your support of my channel.